Okay, let's hit up the journal, which is just tasks that I need to do. Assignments, missions, gotcha. Let's hit up the codex, which is every little thing. It's, what is it? Not the bestiary in an RPG. No, an encyclopedia? I don't know what to compare it to, but all of this stuff in secondary we don't really care about. Player tutorials, we don't care, and I'm not about to scroll through all of it. Mark all entries as viewed. Cool. Okay. Oh, I did it for this too. Come on. Okay. From the top, Alien Council races, the 3 most politically important species in the galaxy.
The Asari were the first species to discover the Citadel. When the Salarians arrived, it was the Asari who proposed the establishment of the Citadel Council to maintain peace throughout the galaxy. Since then, the Asari have served as the mediators and centrists of the Council. An all-female race, the Asari reproduce through a form of parthenogenesis. They can attune their nervous system to that of another individual of any gender and of any species to reproduce. This capability has led to the unseemly and inaccurate rumors about Asari promiscuity. Asari can live for over 1,000 years, passing through 3 stages of life. In the maiden stage, they wander restlessly, seeking new knowledge and experience. When the matron stage begins, they meld with interesting partners to produce their offspring. This ends when they reach the matriarch stage, where they assume the roles of leaders and counselors.
How exactly does that work when, like, is an entire species that, I don't know, man, like, the Asari's numbers must be very small, because, like, having 1 million, 2 million, 6 million, 200 million matriarchs all at once, how many freaking leaders and counselors do you have?
The second species to join the Citadel, the Salarians, are warm-blooded amphibians with a hyperactive metabolism. Salarians think fast, talk fast, and move fast. To Salarians, other species seem sluggish and dull-witted. Unfortunately, their metabolic speed leaves them with a relatively short lifespan. Salarians over the age of 40 are a rarity. The Salarians were responsible for advancing the development of the primitive Krogan species to use as soldiers during the Rachni Wars. They were also behind the creation of the genophage bioweapon the Turians used to quell the Krogan rebellions several centuries later. Salarians are known for their observational capability and non-linear thinking. This manifests as an aptitude for research and espionage. They are constantly experimenting and inventing, and it is generally accepted that they always know more than they are letting on.
Okay, back up. There's not much to comment on about the Salarians, they're just the smarty pantses. Gotcha. But up here it says, the Salarians were responsible for advancing the development of the primitive Krogan species to use as soldiers during the Rachni War. What does that mean? Were they the cause of the population boom of the Krogans inadvertently or something? Like, I don't know what this means. If it just means, oh, well, they gave them power armor and taught them to speak English. If that's what it means, that's what it means. But, like, you're making me think there's some connection between, oh, they advanced the Krogans and then they had to put down the Krogans with the bioweapon genophage Turians.
Roughly 1,200 years ago, the Turians were invited to join the Citadel Council to fulfill the role of galactic peacekeepers. The Turians have the largest fleet in Citadel space, and they make up the single largest portion of the Council's military forces. As their territory and influence has spread, the Turians have come to rely on the Salarians for military intelligence and the Asari for diplomacy. Despite a somewhat colonial attitude towards the rest of the galaxy, the ruling hierarchy understands they would lose more than they would gain if the other 2 races were ever removed. Turians come from an autocratic society that values discipline and possesses a strong sense of personal and collective honor. there is lingering animosity between Turians and humans over the First Contact War of 2157, which is known as the Relay 314 incident to the Turians. Officially, however, the two species are allies, and they enjoy civil, if cool, diplomatic relations.
All right.
The second roughly 12
All right. Anything to comment on about the Turians? The lingering animosity? No, nothing. Not really. Except they kissed the ass of the Solarians and the Asari because they, they need them. So, yeah. Alright. Spacefaring species that went extinct thousands of years before the present. So in here we should see Rachni, Reapers, and Protheans, right?
50,000 years ago, the Protheans were the only spacefaring species in the galaxy. They vanished in a swift galactic extinction. Only the legacy of their empire remains. They are believed to have built the mass relays and the Citadel, which have allowed numerous species to explore and expand throughout the galaxy. Prothean ruins are found on worlds across the galaxy. While surprisingly intact for their age, functioning examples of Prothean paleotechnology are rare. Time and generations of looters have picked their dead cities and derelict stations clean. Some believe the Protheans meddled in the evolution of younger races. The Hanar homeworld of Kadje, for example, shows clear evidence of former Prothean occupation. The presence of a former Prothean observation post on Mars has caused a rebirth of interventionary evolutionists among humans. These individuals believe the god myths of ancient civilizations are misremembered encounters with aliens.
All right. I just remembered, thanks to mentioning the Hanar homeworld, I just remembered that we did not go back on the Citadel and help that one Hanar that was being harassed by the CSEC officer, or vice versa. I gotta go do that. I'm not gonna do it here because I think this entire thing is just gonna be codex entries, but I'll probably put it in next time I visit the Citadel. Reapers not present in an extinct race. Maybe people do believe they were fictional.
Though now extinct, the Rachni once threatened every species in Citadel space. Over 2,000 years ago, explorers foolishly opened a mass relay to a previously unknown system and encountered something never seen before or since, a species of spacefaring insects guided by a hive mind intelligence. Unfortunately, the Rachni were not peaceful, and the galaxy was plunged into a series of conflicts known as the Rachni Wars. Attempts to negotiate were futile, as it was impossible to make contact with the hive queens that guided the race from beneath the surface of their toxic home world. The emergence of the Krogan ended the Rachni Wars. Bred to survive the harshest environments, the Krogan were able to strike at the queens in their lairs and reclaim conquered council worlds. But when Krogan fleets pressed them back to their homeworld, the Rachni refused to surrender, and the Krogan eradicated them from the galaxy.
Okay, a couple of things. One, space shrimp. Giant jumbo space shrimp. And it looks disgusting. Two, really, you're gonna call them foolish. A foolish decision to open that mass relay. And then unknowingly, unfortunately, the Rachni were not peaceful. Come on. And lastly, but when the Krogan fleets pressed them back to their homeworld, the Rachni refused to surrender. That's on y'all. That's on y'all. When I talked to Avina, I think I selected the option, was it really necessary to, extinct their entire species? That was on them. Spacefaring species without the political power to get to set galactic policy. So the people that aren't on the council, would humans be in here?
In the early 2160s, the Alliance began aggressive colonization of worlds in the Skyllian Verge, much to the dismay of the Batarians, who had been developing the region for several decades. In 2171, the Batarians petitioned the Council to declare the Verge a zone of Batarian interest. The Council refused, however, declaring unsettled worlds in the region open to human colonization. In protest, the Batarians closed their Citadel embassy and severed official diplomatic relations with the Council, effectively becoming a rogue state. They instigated a proxy war in the Verge by funneling money and weapons to criminal organizations, urging them to strike at human colonies. Hostilities peaked with the Skillian Blitz of 2176, an attack on the human capital of Elysium by Batarian-funded pirates and slavers. In 2178, the Alliance retaliated with a crushing assault on the moon of Torfin, long used as a staging base by Batarian-backed criminals. In the aftermath, the Batarians retreated into their own systems and are now rarely seen in Citadel space.
So this is our first look at a Batarian. We did not meet any, and apparently they won't be on the Citadel because of this. The Blitz was... who was it that said raiders that I fought on the Blitz? So those raiders were either Batarians themselves. Hostilities peaked with the Skillian Blitz, an attack on the human... funded by... Okay, it was funded. It isn't... I don't know if it was Batarians or if it was just they were backing the people that did attack. And aside from that, where is it? Right here. In 2171, the Batarians petitioned the Council to declare the Verge a zone of Batarian interest. The Council refused, however, declaring unsettled worlds in the region open to human colonization. I guess they needed to give us something, and yeah, that just made a bunch of hostility between us and the Batarians. Not the Batarians and the Council. No, they just left the Council overall. But humans, I feel like that's a sticking point.
The Elcor are a Citadel species native to the high-gravity world Dakuna. They are massive creatures, standing on 4 muscular legs for increased stability. Elcor move slowly, an evolved response to an environment where a fall can be lethal. This has colored their psychology, making them deliberate and conservative. Elcor speech is ponderous and monotone. Among themselves, scent, slight movements, and sub-vocalized infrasound convey shades of meaning that make a human smile seem as subtle as a fireworks display. Since their subtlety can lead to misunderstandings with other species, the Elcor often go out of their way to clarify when they are being sarcastic, amused, or angry. Dakuna's high gravity impedes mountain formation. Most of the world consists of flat, open plains, which prehistoric Elcor wandered across in small family bands. Modern Elcor still prefer open sky, and can become restless and uncomfortable on long starship journeys.
Wait, so did they... I don't know, I want to see the Elcor homeworld. I want to know if they have buildings. Huh. I got not much to say about the Elcor. Yeah, I don't have much to say or comment on when it comes to the Elcor. Tell me about the Geth.
The Geth are a humanoid race of networked AIs. They were created by the Quarians 300 years ago as tools of labor and war. When the Geth showed signs of self-evolution, the Quarians attempted to exterminate them. The Geth won the resulting war. This example has led to legal, systematic repression of artificial intelligences in galactic society. The Geth possess a unique distributed intelligence. An individual has rudimentary animal instincts, but as their numbers and proximity increase, the apparent intelligence of each individual improves. In groups, they can reason, analyze situations, and use tactics, as well as any organic race. Geth space is located at the trailing end of the Perseus Arm, beyond the lawless Terminus systems. The Perseus Veil, an obscuring dark nebula of opaque gas and dust, lies between their space and the Terminus systems.
Okay, that last paragraph was just blah to me. But coming up here, this example has led to legal, systematic repression of artificial intelligence in galactic society. When we were talking to Tali, we said wasn't AI research or whatever illegal. So in the 300 years ago where the Geth were created, was it already illegal, or did it become illegal by the example of the Geth? Maybe I'll find out later.
The Hanar are a citadel species known for excessive politeness. They speak with scrupulous precision and take offense at improper language. Hanar that expect to deal with other species take special courses to help them unlearn their tendency to take offense at improper speech. All Hanar have two names. The face name is known to the world. The soul name is kept for use among close friends and relations. Hanar never refer to themselves in the first person in conversation with someone they know on a face name basis. To do so is considered egotistical, so instead they refer to themselves as this one, or the impersonal it. Their homeworld, Kaje, has 90% ocean cover and orbits an energetic white star, resulting in a permanent blanket of cloud. Due to the presence of Prothean ruins on the world, many Hanar worship them, and Hanar myths often speak of an elder race that civilized them by teaching them language.
Not much to say about the Hanar either. I think there was one thing that stuck out to me. Taking offense to improper speech. We all know people like that. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have to say about the Hanar.
When the Asari discovered the Citadel, they also discovered the Keepers, a docile, multi-limbed insect race that seemingly exists only to maintain and repair the Great Prothean Station. Early attempts to communicate with or study the Keepers were failures, and it is now illegal to interfere with or impede Keeper activity. Because they are completely non-threatening, Keepers have become virtually invisible to everyone else. Similarly, they seem indifferent to other species, except for their tendency to help new arrivals integrate themselves into the Citadel. No matter how many Keepers die due to old age, violence, or accident, they maintain a constant number. No one has discovered the source of new Keepers, but some hypothesize they are genetic constructs. Biological androids created somewhere deep in the inaccessible core of the Citadel itself.
All that scanning better turn up something. That's all I'm saying. It better turn up something. We scanned every Keeper on the Citadel. It should turn up something.
The Krogan evolved in a hostile and vicious environment. Until the invention of gunpowder weapons, eaten by predators was still the #1 cause of Krogan fatalities. Afterwards, it was death by gunshot. When the Solarians discovered them, the Krogan were a brutal, primitive species, struggling to survive a self-inflicted nuclear winter. The Solarians culturally uplifted them, teaching them to use and build modern technology, so they could serve as soldiers in the Rachni War. Liberated from the harsh conditions of their homeworld, the quick-breeding Krogan experienced an unprecedented population explosion. They began to colonize nearby worlds. Even though these worlds were already inhabited, the Krogan rebellions lasted nearly a century, only ending when the Turians unleashed the Genophage, a Solarian-developed bioweapon that crushed all Krogan resistance. The Genophage makes only 1 in 1,000 pregnancies viable, and today the Krogan are a slowly dying breed. Understandably, the Krogan harbor a grudge against all other species, especially the Turians.
I mean, I think Rex disproves that a bit. He doesn't seem to harbor a grudge. Well, not openly. He's not openly hostile towards me or Garrus. Let's see. Up here, we did get more information on what it meant when it said earlier that the Solarians uplifted or whatever the Krogan race. Okay, so that's what they meant. They helped them out with their technology. Anything else to comment on? Population explosion. I want to comment on over here the Genophage. And like, the Genophage makes only 1 in 1,000 pregnancies viable. And like, the Solarians engineered the Genophage, right? Did they make it specifically? I doubt they could have made it so it was as specific as 1 in 1,000. Because if that was the case, I feel like you could have made it so you could cut the population without making them slowly go extinct. But as Rex said, it's pretty much what Krogans are gonna do. They're gonna leave and they're gonna go shoot people. Yep.
Driven from their home system by the Geth nearly 3 centuries ago, most Quarians now live aboard the Migrant Fleet, a flotilla of 50,000 vessels ranging in size from passenger shuttles to mobile space stations. Home to 17 million Quarians, the flotilla understandably has scarce resources. Because of this, each Quarian must go on a rite of passage known as the Pilgrimage when they come of age. They leave the fleet and only return once they have found something of value they can bring back to their people. Other species tend to look down on the Quarians for creating the Geth, and for the negative impact their fleet has when it enters a system. This has led to many myths and rumors about the Quarians, including the belief that underneath their clothes and breathing masks, they are actually cybernetic creatures, a combination of organic and synthetic parts.
I mean, can you data log thingy really call that a myth? Is it not confirmed? Like, is it confirmed that they are purely organic? I'm just saying, you call it a myth, but there's nothing to say that they aren't cybernetic or cyborgs to some extent. There's no proof. You ain't seen a Quarian without their suit on. But yeah. Blah blah. Alright, the pilgrimage thing. I don't know. Did I hear Tali correctly on the Citadel? I forget what she said, but I didn't get the impression that it was forced. But up here it says each Quarian must go on a rite of passage, so it's something you have to do. Alright. And over here, other species tend to look down on Quarians for creating the Geth. I would think you'd be more hostile toward the Quarians for creating the Geth than anything, and negative impacts their fleet has when it enters the system. Tell me more about these negative impacts. What? They drive away business? Because like, oh no, the Quarians are here. I'm not gonna go there anymore. Volus.
The Volus are a member species of the Citadel with their own embassy, but they are also a client race of the Turians. Centuries ago, they were voluntarily absorbed into the hierarchy, effectively trading their mercantile prowess for Turian military protection. Erun, their homeworld, lies far beyond the normal life zone of its star. However, the world has a high-pressure greenhouse atmosphere that traps enough heat to support an ammonia-based biochemistry. As a result, the Volus must wear pressure suits and breathers when dealing with other species, as conventional nitrogen-oxygen air mixtures are poisonous to them, and in the low-pressure atmospheres tolerable to most species, their flesh will actually split open. Volus culture is tribal, bartering lands and even people to gain status. This culture of exchange inclines them to economic pursuits. It was the Volus who authored the Unified Banking Act, and they continue to monitor and balance the Citadel economy.
Okay, first thing while we're scrolling up, in the low pressure atmospheres tolerable to most species, their flesh will actually split open. Gross. I ain't need to know all of that. You could have said something bad happens. I ain't need to know all of that. But up here, it says, where does it say it? They were voluntarily absorbed into the hierarchy, effectively trading their mercantile prowess for Turian military protection. What does that mean exactly? Does that mean that they're, like, grandfathered into the Turian, not race, but, like, infrastructure, I want to say? I don't know, but, like, this pretty much is another way of just saying why Din Korlak on the Citadel is just an ass in general, but also very wrong. Like, even the data log just says your people aren't a military race, and I forget who told us, but I think it was Kalen, the Elcor, in the same room as Din, who was like, or maybe it was Avina. Yeah, I think it was Avina who was like, provide something, military force, and like, you went to the Turians for military. Also, no humans in all of these races. Maybe it's because I'm a human, and it assumes I know everything. Alien, non-sapient creatures? Common non-sapient life forms.
After the Geth secure a location, they round up and impale dead and living bodies on mechanical spikes. The spikes rapidly transform these victims into withered husks, extracting water and trace minerals, and replacing them with cybernetics. The cybernetics reanimate the lifeless flesh and tissue, transforming the bodies into mindless killing machines. Some Alliance soldiers refer to the husk-generating spikes as dragon's teeth, a reference to the mythological berserkers who sprang up from the earth wherever the teeth of the dragon Eris were planted. Dragon's teeth and husks bear little resemblance to other pieces of Geth technology. No one is sure why a synthetic race would bother to drain the minuscule amount of recoverable resources from organic corpses, though the value of reusing them as shock troops is obvious.
Really? That's it? Dragon's teeth? I don't want to look that up. Eris? How do you spell Ares? Well, anyway. All you've told me is about the mechanical spikes. That's pretty much all you told me. Yeah. Citadel and Galactic Government, a massive space station that serves as the political and economic capital of galactic culture.
The Citadel is an ancient deep space station, presumably constructed by the Protheans. Since the Prothean extinction, numerous species have come to call the Citadel home. It serves as the political, cultural, and financial capital of the galactic community. To represent their interests, most species maintain embassies on the Presidium, the Citadel's inner ring. The Citadel Tower in the center of the Presidium holds the Citadel Council Chambers. Council affairs often have far-reaching effects on the rest of the galactic community. 5 arms, known as the Wards, extend from the Presidium. Their inner surfaces have been built into cities, populated by millions of inhabitants from across the galaxy. The Citadel is virtually indestructible. If attacked, the station can close its arms to form a solid, impregnable shell. For as long as the station has existed, an enigmatic race called the Keepers has maintained it.
Okay, a couple of things. Virtually indestructible. If attacked, the station can close its arms and form a solid impregnable shell. But look at the thing. It's like a flower, right? And it's got that big halo circle opening in the middle. So even if it closed all of its arms, you still got the big open circle, right? Unless that closes up too, but I don't see how. Up here, 5 arms, known as the wards, and their inner surfaces have built into cities populated by millions. So that's millions on each arm, right? Right? I assume it is. Look at how big the arms are by comparison. So yeah, millions on each arm. And yeah, that's about it.